Welcome back. Class 8 after a long gap of 2 weeks in the online bio classes. Since the last 2 weeks the holiday was there. So today we are going to start with the third chapter, that is ecosystem. In the previous class I had given you the question answers of chapter 2. Hope you have completed it and written the answers in your copy. Now let's start the third chapter, ecosystem. What is the meaning of the word ecosystem? You know that all the living organisms remain in a surrounding, like we human beings are also living in a surrounding, and our surrounding contains both the living and the non-living things. Like the living things which are present in our surroundings are the plants, other animals, the living creatures, microorganisms, and the non-living part which is present around us, they include air, water, soil, and many more things. So there are two parts, that is living and non-living, in our surroundings or in our environment. So we interact with the other living things also, as well as with the non-living things of our surroundings we interact. So this interaction of living organisms with the other living organisms and their non-living environment is called ecosystem. In your book also the definition is given. Ecosystem is a self-sustaining unit. The meaning of self-sustaining unit is such a system which can itself sustain means it can survive. It does not have to depend on others to survive. And examples of some ecosystems are like a pond ecosystem. Even if you do not give anything to the pond ecosystem will survive. But if you disturb that pond ecosystem by fishing or by killing some plants or animals which are present there, that will disturb the pond ecosystem. Similarly, we have the forest, grassland ecosystem, we have the forest ecosystem. So any ecosystem is self-sustaining, means it can survive on its own if we are not doing any type of disturbance to them, like not cutting the trees of the forest. Then the forest will survive on its own. The old trees will die, the new trees will grow, and the animals which are living will also survive. Successfully they will live, and they will interact with each other. Means they will have good relation with each other without affecting neither the living things nor the non-living part of the environment. Means the air quality will also remain good, the soil will also remain nice. But if we human beings interfere in those ecosystems, like start cutting the trees for making roads, that will disturb the ecosystem. If we start killing of animals in the forest or in the jungle, that will also affect the ecosystem, the forest ecosystem. Understood? So what is ecosystem? First you learn the definition. Ecosystem is a self-sustaining unit that consists of living organisms in a particular area, like in the forest or in the desert or in the grassland, that interact with each other as well as their physical environment. And this type of ecosystem is present everywhere on the earth in the form of ponds, rivers, lakes, forest, grasslands. Now ecosystem has two main parts. So first the definition of ecosystem, if you want to learn it in simple way, you can say ecosystem is a self-sustaining unit system in which living organisms, means living things which are present of a particular area, interact with each other, and their physical environment. So what is ecosystem? It is a self-sustaining unit, or a system also you can write, in which the living things of one particular area, they will interact, means they will have relation with other living things as well as their physical environment like air, water and soil. Now there are two components of ecosystem. Components means parts. So what are the two components of ecosystem? Components means parts. So components of ecosystem. What are they? Ecosystem has two components. They are abiotic and biotic components. So first one is biotic component. The second one is abiotic component. Biotic, the word biotic comes from bio means life. So all those organisms which are living organisms which are present in an ecosystem, they makes the biotic component of the environment. Like we human beings are also living things, so we are also a part of biotic component of the environment. Similarly, all other plants and animals or any other organism which has life, like microorganisms also, bacteria, all of them which makes the living part of the environment are called biotic components. And examples of biotic components are, biotic means living in simple words, and abiotic means non-living. So biotic components are the living components of the environment. Example you can write plants, animals, microorganisms and many more. Okay, plants, animals, scavengers, decomposers, all parasites, all you can write. Parasites, scavengers. Scavengers, you know what is the meaning? Scavengers are those organisms that feed on the dead and decaying organic matter, which scavengers, decomposers, are the one which feed on dead and decomposing organic matter. So next we have to do is abiotic components. Abiotic means non-living part of the environment. So what is the non-living part of the environment? The examples are air, water, soil. These are all non-living parts, okay, of the environment. The water which we drink is also non-living component of the environment. The soil in which the crops grow is also abiotic component of the environment. And even the air which we breathe, that consists of a mixture of gases, is also abiotic component. And they are also essential or important for living things. So can you think without air the living things will survive? No. Because they have to breathe. Without water can the living things survive? No. Similarly, without soil the plants will not grow. And if plants and crops will not grow, then living things like us, we human beings and other animals cannot survive. Okay? So they are the abiotic components. Now one by one we have to study about the biotic components. What are the different types of biotic components? Like producers, consumers. In consumers also different types are there, like primary consumers, secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. Then decomposers. So one by one, first I'll clean this one. Okay, now next we have to continue with the biotic or the living components of the environment. So there are three biotic components of the environment mentioned in your book also: producers, consumers and decomposers. So one by one we will study about each one of them. Producers, consumers and decomposers. Okay. Now first one we have to do producers. What is producers? Producers are all the green plants are called producers. Why? They are also known as autotrophs. Green plants are called producers because they are the one which makes food by the process of photosynthesis. So they are also called autotrophs. Auto means self and troph means food. Because the green plants can prepare their food themselves, so they are also known as autotrophs. And what are the raw materials that they need to make their food? We have studied in lower classes also in science. Plants need air, that is carbon dioxide, sunlight, and they need water also. So sunlight, water and carbon dioxide is needed by the green plants, and in the presence of chlorophyll, which is a green colored pigment found in their leaves, they change the solar energy of sunlight into chemical energy of food. So they produce energy in the form of food. Food is produced by the green plant. That's why they are called producers. Now producers are the main source of food and energy for all the living organisms, because no other living organisms can survive without food and energy. All the green plants are producers. So green plants are producers because they are the one which make their food by photosynthesis. Okay, so they are called autotrophs. They make their food by photosynthesis. Already I have said what is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a physiochemical process, means physical as well as chemical process, in which green plants make food in the leaves and other green parts of the plant by using sunlight, carbon dioxide and water. So now next, the food which is produced by the green plants is available to all living things so that they can eat and get energy. Now next we have to do is consumers, the second one. Consumers are those living organisms that cannot make their own food. Like we are also consumers, all the animals are consumers, and they are also called heterotrophs. Also called hetero means that depend on others. Okay, the word hetero means other, and troph means food. So also called heterotrophs. Heterotroph is the other name of consumers. And the chemical energy, heterotrophs cannot produce their own food. So they are the one, the consumers are the one which cannot make their own food. Cannot make their own food. So they have to depend on green plants for their food. Now depending on their mode of nutrition, like if they are directly eating the green plants only, they are called herbivores. If they eat the animals or they feed on the animals, they are called carnivores. And if they feed on both the plants as well as animals, they are known as omnivores. So these animals are consumers, and based on their feeding habits, there are three types of consumers. What are they? Primary consumers, we have to study about each of them. Secondary consumers, and the third one, tertiary consumers. So how many types of consumers are there? Three types. Primary consumer, secondary consumer and tertiary consumer. So first we will study about the primary consumer. Primary consumer means those organisms or living things which feed directly on the plants. Means plants are their main source of food and energy. Like all the herbivorous animals, plant eating animals, they directly feed on plants or leaves of the plants. They are called primary consumers. So primary consumers depend directly on plants for their food. They are herbivores. The chemical energy which is present in the food is transferred to those herbivores, because energy is passed in the form of food from one place to the other, that is from the plants to the animals, and from the animals to the other animals which feed on them. Now examples of primary consumers are like herbivores, you know, cow is a grass eating animal, deer, okay, goat. So all these you can give the examples of primary consumers. And when you have to write the definition, what you will write? Primary consumers are those organisms which feed directly on the plants. Means their main food is plants only or plant parts. They are directly eating. They are also called herbivores. Then we have the secondary consumers. Secondary consumers, they depend indirectly on the plants. Means they are not directly eating the plants, but they will feed on cow, deer, goat. Indirectly they will eat these animals which are feeding on the plants. Means they are called secondary consumers because they get their energy by eating the herbivores. So they are also called carnivores. Okay, carnivores means the animals that eat the flesh of other animals like lion, tiger, jackal, wolf. Means they are the one which feed on other animals' flesh. So they are called carnivores. So chemical energy of the food passes from the herbivores to the carnivores. Examples are lions, tigers, wolves, frogs, lizards and snakes. Then we have the last one, that is the tertiary consumer, the third type of consumer. These are the organisms which feed on the lions, tigers and all, snakes. Example, hawk. Hawk is the name of the bird which will feed on, it is a tertiary consumer, it will feed on a frog, and frog is a secondary consumer, and the frog will feed on a grasshopper. Grasshopper is a primary consumer because it feeds on grass. So grass is the food. So you can see first grass is here. Grass is the food. It is taken by grasshopper, which is the primary consumer. Then grasshopper is eaten by frog, which is the secondary consumer, and frog is eaten by hawk, which is a tertiary consumer. H-A-W-K, hawk. Understood? So tertiary consumer are those organisms which indirectly depend on plants for their food and energy. They will feed on secondary consumers to get their energy. Example, I already said about hawk. So chemical energy of food passes to them through the primary and secondary consumers. Hope you have understood this one. What is primary, secondary and tertiary consumers? Primary consumers directly feed on the plants to get their energy in the form of food. Secondary consumers feed on those animals, that is herbivores, that feed on plants like cow, deer, goat and all, and get their energy, whereas tertiary consumers are those organisms which indirectly depend on plants for their food and energy. Like they will feed on secondary consumers, and the secondary consumers obtain their food from primary consumers. Okay. Now next is, what is omnivores? Omnivores are those consumers which can feed both on plants as well as omnivores, as well as animals. Sorry. So like we human beings, bear, crow, all three are omnivores because we can eat plants also as well as the flesh of other animals. Then the next one is scavengers. Examples, scavengers are carnivorous animals, that is flesh-eating animals that depend on or feed on the remains of dead animals. Like if any animal has already died, hunted by tiger, and that flesh of dead animal is being eaten by some animals like vultures, hyenas, crows. So such animals are called scavengers, which feed on dead animals, on the flesh of dead animals. They are called scavengers. So already we have done the scavengers also. Now next is decomposers and detrivores. What is decomposers? Bacteria and fungi are called decomposers. Why? Because they are those microorganisms that grow on the dead bodies of plants and animals and break their dead bodies into smaller pieces so that the minerals which are present inside their dead bodies can be returned back to the environment, can be released into the soil. So decomposers are very useful to us because they help to clean the environment from the dead bodies. They also help to recycle the nutrients back into the atmosphere. So what is decomposers? Organisms like bacteria and fungi that break down the dead and decaying organic matter are called decomposers. So I said in simple words, decomposers are the living things or the organisms, microorganisms like bacteria and fungi that feed on dead plants and animals. Plants also as well as animals also. Now these organisms, that is microorganisms like bacteria and fungi, they will release certain enzymes on the dead bodies which will help them to change into simpler nutrients like nitrogen and carbon. Nitrogen is a gas, so it will be released into the atmosphere. The products of digestion are absorbed by bacteria and fungi while the nutrients are recycled into the environment. Decomposers keeps our environment clean. Then comes detrivores. What is detrivores? Detrivores are small living things or animals that live in soil or in the aquatic bodies like water bodies that help to the nutrient cycles by breaking down the dead and decaying materials. They feed on small pieces of dead materials which are called detritus. So detritus means the dead bodies of plants and animals which are present in water bodies or in the soil. It will be eaten by detrivores, and examples of detrivores are earthworms, mites and slugs. So today up to here only. Now there is some questions. Name the following. You can try it as homework on page number 56. Like first one I will say, all non-living things, name the following question. It is one word answer you have to write. Number one is all non-living things present in an ecosystem. They are called abiotic components. Okay. Number two, organisms that cannot produce their own food. They are called heterotrophs. The one which can produce, they are called autotrophs. Third one is category of consumers to which lions and tiger belong. Lions and tiger belongs to secondary consumers. You can also write as carnivores. And fourth one, animals which feed on both plants and animals, they are called omnivores. And the fifth and the last one, organisms that feed on dead and decaying organic matter, they are called decomposers. Okay, so today up to here only. You can draw a diagram. Diagram is not there. Okay, next time you have to draw the diagram, but if you want you can draw from page 55, biotic interactions in an ecosystem. Okay, so after watching the video, write your name in the comments. You can like it also. Okay, thank you.